Oh, I am not ready. I will take another 5 minutes. I will come back.
Janardhan Reddy.
Sir, voice is audible.
Sir, Janardhan Reddy, sir. You have muted.
Good evening, sir. We cannot hear you, sir.
Sir, please unmute your audio, sir. Janardhan Reddy, sir.
Thank you, sir. We can hear you now, sir. Thank you.
మీటింగ్ ఇది చేయాలా దీన్ని స్టాప్ అంటే స్టాప్ షేర్ అంటే వెళ్ళిపోతుందా ఓకే ఓకే హలో హలో రజనీకాంత్ ఐఎమ్ ఆడిబుల్
Yes, sir, you are
Hello?
audible, sir. Good evening, sir. Good
Yes, sir.
evening,
Yes,
sir. You
sir.
are audible, sir. Thank you.
Hello? Hello, Rajinikanth? Hello? Hello, Rameshwar, Adinarayana? Adinarayana?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible, sir.
అరే ఇప్పుడు జాయిన్ అయినది సౌండ్ రావడం వాయిస్ రావడం లేదు. హలో,
Sir, మీ వాయిస్
వినిపిస్తుందా?
వినిపిస్తుంది సార్.
ఓకే,
We are audible, sir.
ఓకే ఓకే.
Please continue, sir.
Right. Okay, students, we start the session. Yesterday we discussed the various aspects of aggression. We also discussed the meaning and also the different types and also the determinants of aggression. Today I will be presenting the PPT. Through PPT we will explain. Whatever is left out we will explain now. Now the meaning we have discussed yesterday, all of you know it. It is not necessary, I think. Any behavior intended to harm another person who doesn't want to be harmed. It is a meaning, there is a definition given by the Anderson. It means any behavior intended to harm another person. Other part of the sentence is who doesn't want to be harmed. If he is willing to be harmed, that is not aggression. That is the meaning of this. If we prevent that aggression, then it becomes prevent that activity, then it becomes aggression. So any behavior that is intended to hurt or harm another person or a group of persons or an object. So that means harming not only the persons, it also includes the destruction of property or objects. It is not accidental. Please remember, any aggression is not accidental. It is intentional. If it is accidental, that it will not come under aggression. Then it can be physical, verbal, or emotional, or it can be direct, indirect, overt or covert, external, outward. That is, external means outward, or internal means inward. That inward means self-injury, including suicide. Then suppressed or transferred. Next thing is these things are already covered yesterday. Just we will try to work only a few minutes on this. Types of aggression, under that hostile aggression, instrumental aggression, and sanctioned aggression. This concept we have not discussed yesterday. This sanctioned aggression, for example, police people make aggression against the criminals. Can we call it an aggression? So it is, though it is an aggression, it is sanctioned. Though it is all of it, the harming the criminal or hitting the criminal, though it is aggression, but it is sanctioned or approved by law and displaced. This concept we have discussed yesterday. That means insult by the boss, the subordinate is there, and that is displaced, that is transferred to spouse or children. Institutional, for example, court judgment. For example, judge may give a sentence, death sentence. It is an aggression, but it is institutional. It is also accepted. Though death sentence is given to a criminal for some violent activity, it is approved and it is institutional. And interpersonal or intergroup aggression will also be there. Then other thing is different theories. We have discussed these theories. One important theory we have also discussed yesterday, that is Sigmund Freud and Lawrence. Sigmund Freud talked about the that is death instinct, and Lawrence he proposed the fighting instinct. It is called instinct theory. Name of the theory or title of the theory is instinct theory. It is inborn. Any instinct is inborn. So fighting instinct is inborn, and also death, that also instinct is also inborn. That is instinct. So because of this fighting instinct and also the death instinct, people they indulge in destructive behavior or violent behavior. It is an innate instinctual disposition. It is a disposition. People are programmed for aggression. Please remember, people are programmed for aggression. It is innate. It is not learned. According to this theory, Freud's theory or Lawrence theory, aggression is not a learned one. It is a inborn or innate. By birth, it will come. Then the much against this social learning theory, it is quite different from the Freud's theory or Lawrence's theory. The theory proposed by Albert Bandura, that is social learning theory, it is quite different. He proposed, that Bandura proposed, that aggression is learned. Aggression is learned through this, for example, take this media. Media exposure. Through media exposure, people learn this aggressive behavior. He has experimentally proved that Bandura, famous psychologist, has experimentally proved how the aggression is learned. That experiment name is Bobo doll experiment. It is very popular. Very popular. It is a very important experiment conducted by the Bandura, Bobo doll. He proved, experimentally has proved, how this media, especially the TV, that results in the aggressive behavior. They established a link between media. So he clearly established the link. Bandura, the famous psychologist, he established a link between media and aggression. And the other theory is frustration aggression hypothesis. This also we have discussed briefly yesterday, Dollard and Miller. So he proposed that frustration leads to aggression. Frustration occurs due to interference in goal attainment, and it causes anger. We need not discuss it in detail, but it is not required. Newcomb, other one, social psychologist, he also supported this theory. There is frustration induces motivation of some kind of aggression. That is Newcomb, that is another social psychology also said. But after some time, some other psychologists, suppose they have criticized this hypothesis or this theory, because they also proved that frustration not necessarily lead to aggression. Frustration may lead to depression. They have also proved. Both are possible. Both are possible. He said, the proposal here is proposed by some other psychologists is frustration not necessarily leads to aggression. Sometimes, some individuals, it may result in aggression. This depression. Frustration leads to depression. That is a theory proposed by some other psychologists. So this is over. This is general aggression model. This is it is not modern view. This is the modern view. Some theories propose that aggression is inborn, and some other theories propose that aggression is learned. But this theory says all things are required. It is a very comprehensive theory. Very comprehensive theory. It includes traditional the aspects and also the modern the concepts. So they said biological factors are there, social factors are there, individual factors are there, cognitive factors are there. All these put together, they trigger the aggression. not necessarily biological, according to this theory, not necessarily social or individual. All these factors, they interact with each other. They interact. All the biological factors, social, individual, cognitive, all these factors interact with each other. Finally, that results in aggression. That means, according to this theory, various factors are responsible for aggression. That means various factors, they trigger aggression. So this theory includes all the aspects that are covered by different theories. For example, situational social factors. Frustration is also covered in this theory. Provocation is covered. Exposure to aggressive models, and also the negative emotions, and also the personal factors, that is high irritability, type A behavior. Some experiments, some studies have also proved there is a link between aggression and type A personality. Type A personality is quite different. There are two types, type A personality and type B personality. Type A personality, the characteristics are they are very competitive, they are aggressive, they are impulsive, they are by nature they are very, very competitive. So the people who have this type A personality, they are more likely to engage in aggressive behavior. That is some studies have also proved. Then the determinants, that is social, frustration, we have already discussed, person-centered, hostile attribution bias, type A personality, gender differences, narcissism, sensation, all these things. Exposure to media, that we all discussed. Media violence, there are two things. Desensitization effect. What is this desensitization effect? We concluded, that is especially the Bandura concluded, that media violence leads to aggression. That is direct. But desensitization, what is this desensitization? Desensitization is when people are in newspaper and television and various things, because of this repeated exposure to violence, finally people become desensitized. ఇలాంటి ఏదైనా వైలెంట్ బిహేవియర్ జరిగినట్టయితే వాళ్ళు పెద్దగా ఫీల్ అయ్యే పరిస్థితి ఉండదు. ఎందుకంటే అలవాటు పడిపోయినారు, ఇది మామూలే అనే ఒక పద్ధతికి వచ్చేస్తారు. దట్ ఈస్ కాల్డ్ desensitization effect. And childhood experience, this is also an important thing. Under the title Determinants of Human Aggression, childhood experience is also an important factor that plays a major role. How the childhood experience leads to aggression. Thing is, unpleasant, sorrowful experiences or problems during childhood. In simply to put it simply, unpleasant experiences during childhood period, more problems, that type of experience by the children, when they become adults, they will indulge in aggressive behavior. That means childhood experience, that a bad experience during the childhood, that will finally lead to aggression. That is one thing. Another thing is, and some studies have also proved the parental role in bringing the children or in rearing the children. Many studies have proved wherever the relations between parents and the children are not cordial, or when they don't have happy relations between parents and children, then that will lead to this type of aggressive behavior. For example, say when the parents are drunkards, father or whatever it is, with drunkards, are always fighting with each other at home, and also fighting with the children. This type of unpleasant experiences during childhood, that will make them to have this aggressive behavior. Then the other thing is, which we have discussed, environmental factors, hostile retribution, type A personality, we have discussed. Gender difference, yes. We come back to the gender differences. There are many studies. Are there any gender differences as far as the aggression is concerned? Gender difference, we mean differences between male and female, woman and man. Are there any difference? Can you guess? studies have proved,
Sir.
yes. Can you guess?
Yes, sir. Boys and girls are treated differently. Yesterday we have discussed
Yes.
it. And girls are expected to behave in a certain manner, whereas boys are a little bit aggressive and they are permitted to some
Yes,
extent.
that is acceptable.
Completely-
Yes, okay, that is okay. That is the cultural factor. That stereotypes, that stereotype is there, that is prevalent even today. That is prevalent. That type of that means aggression among boys is to some extent acceptable. That is the cultural influence will be there. What I'm telling here is gender difference, not in rearing, not in treating the children, but of the two categories, that is men and women, who will have more aggressive behavior, whether men or women.
Men, sir.
So the
Well
studies
said.
have proved, yes, the studies have proved, compared to women, more number of men will, they will resort to this aggressive behavior. They will indulge in aggressive behavior. That is men. There are also various reasons for that. One reason I told you yesterday, now also we are discussed. That is, they are treated. Boys are treated differently, and the girls are also treated differently. That is cultural factors. In addition to the cultural factors or the social factors, some other factors are also responsible for this difference between men and women. That difference is hormonal differences. Hormonal differences are there. That difference in hormones, that also influence the aggression, the level of aggression is also related to the hormonal the differences. For example, there is one hormone, that is testosterone. Testosterone. It is very high level of testosterone hormone. This type of hormone is present in men.
Mr. Ramesh, mute your
Yes,
device.
I wanted to say this testosterone is a male hormone which is produced after the puberty. Now,
Yes.
what is happening? The male has got muscles building and irritability, and also has less toleration capability because of the hormone. So, therefore, they
Yes.
become more aggressive.
Yes. So these differences in hormones, that leads to differences in aggression. So this, according to studies, testosterone is high level of testosterone is present in males and less among women. So there is a relationship between testosterone and aggression. Higher the level of testosterone, higher the level of aggression. There is a relationship has been clearly established by various studies. So because with the hormonal differences, so the women have more aggressive behavior compared to women. And in addition to that, one more difference is also observed between men and women. That difference is, we have discussed earlier, direct aggression, indirect aggression. There are two types. Direct aggression means directly hitting the person. It's smashing the properties, outward expression of anger. That is one thing. And other thing is indirect. Indirect means that is secretly done. That is secretly done. Indirect, that is passive aggression, indirect aggression, that are observed. The type of indirect aggression and also passive aggression, they are found among women, and direct aggression and active aggression, they are found among men. That is the difference. That type of difference are also observed between men and women. Directly hitting the people, women will not do. Of course, one or two people may do it, but majority, we go by the majority. The direct hitting, stabbing, those things will not be done by the women. So the direct aggression will be by men, and indirect aggression by the women. That is the difference between men and women. And sensation seeking, other one, temperature. So go to the temperature. Yes, not this one. Yes, personal factors, high irritability, anxiety transfer, environmental factors. So this temperature is there. They we also found the relationship or impact of environment on aggressive behavior. Many studies have been conducted. They have proved that environment also plays a major role in aggressive behavior. For example, the temperature. There are studies which found that in hotter areas, hot regions, the aggressive behavior is more. So the people we can find, we can observe this aggressive behavior more in hotter areas than in colder areas. That is because of the temperature and also the noise. Because the noise leads to irritation, there's a lot of disturbance. So this unpleasant feelings or restlessness, because of the restlessness or these feelings, they also that leads to aggressive behavior. And air pollution is also there, and crowding. Crowding is also an important thing. There is a relationship between the crowd and the aggression. How? Can you why this crowding is leading to aggressive behavior?
Maybe too much of crowd creates a lot of irritation, and that irritation may lead to aggression,
The studies,
frustration,
yes, there are
aggression.
many studies. Yes, you are right. Many studies are there which established a clear relationship between crowding and aggressive behavior. Reasons
In
are
the crowd, people feel anonymity. That is anonymity,
yes,
like football match is playing. Somebody
yes,
starts aggressive behavior. It is something called feeling of anonymity, where he cannot be pointed out, cannot be punished also.
yes,
That is another way of leading to aggression.
yes. Anonymity is there. That is the most important thing. In the crowd, there are 100 people. There may be 100 people, 50 people, or 1,000 people. No, who is responsible? Nobody is responsible. That type of feeling will be there. Anonymous. They have courage. Even if even they do some illegal activity, that will not be noticed by the law or the police people. So because of this, anonymous factors, because there is no responsibility, because nobody is responsible in their crowd. So that makes them to be that makes them to have more courage to indulge in aggressive behavior. That is one thing. Other thing is, when the crowd is there, distance between the two people will be very, very less. Distance between one person and other person will be very less. Because of the short or less distance between the person, that will lead to a lot of disturbance, these unpleasant feelings or restlessness. That also adds to aggressive behavior, in addition to anonymous. Then the situational factors. Situational factors is alcohol consumption. Mostly the alcohol addicts, they will have this aggressive behavior, because the alcohol that makes physically will be that, and cognitive factors will not work, and they will be tempted to do whatever they like. So alcohol consumption, there is a much connection between alcohol consumption and also the aggression. Studies have proved. And the drug, of course, drugs are there, provocation, those things come under this. So this is another theory, of course, we should have discussed earlier, excitation transfer theory. This is proposed by Gilman. It comes under the, it is a part of theory. We have, with this slide, we have missed. It is a part of theory. You have discussed various theories. One such theory is excitation transfer theory. Yesterday also we discussed it, but not in length. We not discussed much in detail. So what he said, this Gilman has, through studies, he has proved arousal in one situation. And arousal here means restlessness, unpleasant feelings, or there's a frustration, there's stress feelings. that is that in one situation can persist and intensify in another situation. That is the important thing. It will persist. It will be there, or it will come along with the person. So it will intensify. Along with the persistence, the feelings also be intensified. That means arousal or stress feeling or this irritation feelings are transferred from one situation to another situation, and it becomes a double. It becomes a double. Even in a minor situation, what you have to understand here is the final situation, the third or fourth situation, that may be very simple one, very light one. The people may say they get surprised how these people are behaving so aggressively. This incident is very small one, very lighter one. A simple cause is talking like that, is behaving like that. The fact we have to understand is carrying the earlier arousal or the irritation. So when the irritation persisted and intensified in the third or fourth situation, that leads to the aggression. Though the incident is very, very small, very small. మనం మామూలుగా సినిమాల్లో కానీ న్యూస్ పేపర్లో కానీ టీవీలో కానీ చూస్తుంటాం. చిన్న వాటికి మొబైల్ తీయలేదు, మొబైల్లో అడుగుతారు, మొబైల్ ఇవ్వలేదని సూసైడ్ చేసుకోవడం, లేదు ఒక చిన్న వస్తువు ఏదని తీసిలేదని పేరెంట్స్ చిల్డ్రన్ ఇతరుల పైన అటాక్ చేయడం, ఇలాంటి చూస్తుంటాం. లేదా వైఫ్ అండ్ హస్బెండ్ డిఫరెన్స్ చూస్తుంటాం. ఇది చూడడానికి చాలా సింపుల్గా అనిపిస్తుంది. ఎంత సింపుల్ దానికి వీళ్ళు ఎంత గొడవ చేస్తున్నారో మనకు అనిపిస్తుంది. అయితే దానికి బ్యాక్గ్రౌండ్ ఉంది. యాజ్ ఫర్ దిస్ థియరీ, యాజ్ ఫర్ దిస్ ఎగ్జైటెడ్ ట్రాన్స్ఫర్ థియరీ, దానికి బ్యాక్గ్రౌండ్ ఉంది. ఆ పర్టికులర్ సిచ్యువేషన్లో దట్ ఇన్సిడెంట్ ఈస్ వెరీ స్మాల్, వెరీ లైట్, వెరీ సింపుల్. దట్ ఈస్ రైట్. బట్ ఈవెన్ దెన్ వాళ్ళు అంత అగ్రెసివ్గా బిహేవ్ చేశారంటే దానికి బ్యాక్గ్రౌండ్ ఉంది. బ్యాక్గ్రౌండ్ ఉందంటే ఏమంటే ఇన్ డిఫరెంట్ సిచ్యువేషన్స్ repeatedly he was insulted or he has exposed to irritation. So finally, even though it is very simple one, finally he will indulge in aggressive behavior. After exposure, then another thing is he has also proved after exposure to the second stimulus, the individual experiences excitation attributes to full excitation to the second stimulus. Right. Please read the first sentence. Please read the sentence so that you can understand the importance of the excitation transfer theory. Second stimulus occurs before the complete decay of residual excitation from the first stimulus. This is most important thing. So if this gap between first situation and second situation is large, then nothing will happen. But when the gap is very less, for the last 1 hour it happened, in the second hour it happened, the third hour it happened, then it will becomes very serious. In contrast, something happened today, after 5 days or a week, the same thing happened again. Then intensity will not be much. That will lead to aggressive behavior. According to this theories, when the stimulus here means occurrence of this irritating jam. He was delayed because of traffic jam. That person was delayed maybe for 10 minutes or 15 minutes. And okay, that occurred, that happened. Again, after some time, nothing will happen. In his feeling, there will not be anything. And after a few minutes, again traffic jam is there. He was delayed with much time again. He was made to wait for a longer time because of the traffic jam or red signal. He was made to wait for some more time. It occurred again within 1 hour. He had first situation, he faced the first failure situation, and he also faced the second failure situation. And third situation is again maybe this type of traffic jam or red signal. Somehow he has passed through all these disturbances. He has gone to the institution. He has gone to the office where the interview is going to be held. In that interview, not the interview, he is going by say a lift. In the lift, this lift operator, they caused some disturbance to this person, and he made to wait for some more time. That the lift operator made this interview person to wait for some more time. Now you can imagine the status of that person. Within 1 hour, from the time of starting to the reaching for destination point, that is interview place, within 1 hour, he is faced with many failures or many disturbing or irritating events. First signal, second signal, third signals are like that. Finally, again in the interview office also, he faced similar disturbance or irritation. At that time, he will explode. That behavior will manifest aggressive behavior that lift operator. Though that cause is very simple, but this person will manifest aggressive behavior against that lift operator. For others, externals, it may look very simple. What is this person is attacking this lift operator? What is this? The other people may talk like that, but for him, repeated the irritating events that made him to react violently. That is the nature of this excitation transfer theory. That means that excitation or irritation, the transfer of one situation to another situation, finally it blasts. So determinants of we have discussed. Perspectives, yes. Of course, these things are, some of these things are not in our say the syllabus, please. Perspectives on aggression, it is not there in your syllabus. In the second page, there are perspectives on aggression is there. Only two perspectives are categorized for examination purpose. I am telling. In our book, there are two types of perspectives. They clearly said perspectives on aggression have been categorized into two. One is biological perspective. Under biological perspective, the names of Freud and Lawrence will come. And another is situational factors, social factors. That is called modern view. Second view is titled as modern view. First is called biological view. Second one is called modern view. Under modern view, there is nothing but Anderson's theory. It is a comprehensive one. All the factors, including biological, social, the cognitive factor, all these are involved in aggressive behavior. That is a modern view. Not necessarily social factors or not necessarily biological factors. All things are involved. That is titled as modern view. So this perceptive aggression, Adler is not there in your book, but Adler is there. I think his name will come in the second year. There is one theory proposed by this Adler that we will read it in the next year. That is personality. So this Adler's theory, he said, aggression is due to striving for superiority and perfection. Adler said the people have the need for superiority. Every individual, they will strive to establish superiority over others. They have that need. They strive for superiority over others. That will make them to behave aggressively. That is what Adler says. And another thing is perfection. People are more perfect They will not tolerate any mistakes in the work done by the employee. For example, boss is very perfect man. Everything should be done in a perfect way. If the boss is high in perfection, what will happen, he expects everything to be done perfectly by the subordinates. He will not tolerate his simple deviation. Simple deviation, he will not accept. He will get irritated, and he may speak violently against this, say, subordinate. So there is a striving for that according to the view of Adler. And Maslow is also there. Maslow humanistic theory. Aggression arises from deprivation of basic needs. Basic needs is also one famous theory that you will read it in second year as part of personality. He also proved, he also said that aggression arises from deprivation of basic needs. What do you mean by basic needs? Basic needs, according to him, the need for food. If the need for food is deprived, people will be very aggressive. They talk aggressively, they behave aggressively. If the thirst or hunger is denied, food is denied, including sex is denied. So basic needs, physical needs are denied. It is likely that people will have the aggressive behavior according to this Maslow. And Anna Freud is another person. He said, impaired mother-child relations. Please remember, this is an important one. How this society is moving. This sentence is very important in the modern days. Impaired mother-child relations results in aggressive behavior among children. What is this?
That is, the child is separated from mother in the childhood itself, sir. Maybe a working lady or something like that.
Yes. Maybe working, maybe not necessarily working. It can be non-working also. Non-working women or non-working parents or working parents, whoever it is. If they have the impaired mother, impaired means unpleasant thing, improper relations between parents and the children. If that is there, then that will result in aggressive behavior among children. It is unfortunate thing. Now this is happening among the children in recent days. Because of various reasons, we cannot criticize any person, either wife or husband or a parent, whoever it is, we cannot criticize. But the fact is, the relationship, the time spent by the parents with the children and the way they treat with the children is quite different. For various reasons, we can't criticize anybody. But the fact is that is unsatisfactory relations between parents and children will definitely lead to aggressive behavior among children. It is established, it is proved also. That is what now happening in recent days. Now the aggressive behavior tendencies are growing. Inside, besides these biological factors, social factors are also contributing. Unless social factors contribute, even the genetic factors also will not operate. That is what next person says, that the Mark and Erwin, they said, genetic factors are also under the cognitive control of man. So we have discussed some of the theories which focus on genetic factors, or whether it can be hormonal differences or genetic differences, whatever it is. The genetic factors play a major role in aggression. That is accepted. But according to this person, given the genetic factors are not satisfactory, if they have this, if they are under the control of the person, if the person wants to control it, the cognitive control is there, then genetic factors will also be under control. The other person, the Morton, they criticize FA theory, that is frustration aggression theory. That this Morton by name, psychologist by name Morton, he criticized the theory of frustration aggression theory. He said, when people are exposed to severe frustration, many people become depressed rather than aggressive. It is also fact. people may become depressed. That will lead to depression. That means there is a link between frustration and depression. Link between frustration and depression. Earlier, link between frustration and aggression. Here, link between depression and frustration. Prevention and control. The thing is, now we have discussed which different factors which lead to this aggressive behavior. Various factors we have discussed, not one or two, multiple factors we have discussed, the factors that are responsible for aggressive behavior. Now the problem is, can we prevent it? Is it possible to prevent it? Yes, it is possible. 100% may not work, but it is possible to prevent. Prevention and control. So, for example, you take this, how this aggressive behavior can be prevented or controlled or treated. This is the question now. The people say, psychologists have said, this can also be prevented. This can also be controlled, but difficult. It is very difficult, but it can be controlled, at least to some extent. The one thing is, go back to the Freud. Freud is an important person because please remember, Freud is an important person. He will very often comes in all the concepts. He is one psychologist whose name is cited in different theories, in different contexts, not in one context. At different contexts, his name is cited. He is a very popular psychologist. There is Sigmund Freud. Full name is Sigmund Freud. He said, aggression cannot be eliminated, but intensity can be reduced. Intensity can be reduced by the promotion of substitute outlets such as sports, painting, Catharsis Theory. It is called Catharsis Theory. It is the term coined by the Freud. The Catharsis Theory is proposed by the Freud, and the term catharsis is also coined by the Freud. According to him, according to this theory, what he says is, as the first sentence said, though it cannot be completely eliminated, but intensity can be reduced by the promotion of substitute outlets. Out of these substitute outlets, the sports or various activities where they can find expression for anger. Anger is there among the people. Anger is suppressed. Anger is suppressed for various reasons. Dissatisfaction is suppressed. All negative emotions are suppressed because of the cultural, the inhibitions, cultural factors. We will be not in a position to express our anger or unpleasant experiences. We will suppress them. So when the negative emotions are suppressed too many times, what will happen? After some time it will blast. It will result in aggressive behavior. That is what is also compared to the what it is called cooker. What is this title? You have some rice cooker. Rice cooker, the whistle is there. Oh, what is the function of it?
It will develop pressure inside.
Pressure is
things are cooked, the pressure is released.
Through cooking, through heat, a lot of pressure is developed in the cooker. What is the whistle? What is the name of this? Is it whistle or something is there? Or some other name is there? So it allows that pressure to come out. In case that pressure is not allowed to come out, if the whistle is not there, what will happen?
It will blast, sir. It will blast.
Then cooker will blast. Why? Because of the high pressure inside the cooker. Same thing is happening to the individuals. Same thing is happening to individuals because a lot of frustration is there inside. Lot of unpleasant feelings are there. Lot of negative emotions are there. It happens in our human life. It occurs. It happens. Natural. because everything is not beautiful. There's some problems will be there. So there are many quotations are also there. Life is a lot of full of frustration. Life is full of frustration. We cannot avoid frustration. We have to live with frustration. It is not so easy to avoid the frustration. We have to live with frustration. So that is what we said, life is full of frustrations. When the life is full of frustration, that means we will have a lot of negative emotions, unpleasant emotions inside us, they are suppressed. We have to find a way out. The outlet should be there. That negative energy, to put it in terms of pride, we have used the terms negative energy. Negative energy should be released. That means negative emotions. So negative energy should be released. How to release the negative energy? These are the outlets. For example, there are simple few examples. There is sports. When the people are involved in sports, they kick the ball. For example, football is there, they kick the ball. If the cricket is there, they use the cricket, they have bat, various things. So by involving in various physical activity, not necessarily sports, any physical activity, anything. So by involving in various physical activities, this negative energy is released. So violent behavior is there because of negative energy, because of high level of negative energy in man. Negative energy here means negative emotions inside the man. When the negative emotions are released, he is free, he is relaxed. When a person is in a relaxed mode, then there is no question of doing this aggressive behavior. When you are not in a relaxed mode, then all these bad things will be there. So for this type of physical activities should be provided. Now you imagine the status of the present schools. You imagine the status of present school, the private schools especially. Is there any playground for the children? Is there spacious place for the children to play, to walk?
No, absolutely no, sir.
Classrooms are also not comfortable. Narrow, small classrooms. They are dumped in the classrooms. Yes. Narrow classrooms, small classrooms, they are dumped. No playground, no spacious place to move, to walk. So what happened? Whatever negativity is there, it is continued. So one fine morning, it will find expression. After some time, it will find some expression. For example, you take the Basra people, engineering students. Is it Basra? It is in news now. I think it is Basra. The engineering students. They are going on strike. Then not because of these factors. Then the aggression replacement training. Of course, the psychological technique, aggression replacement training. It refers to cognitive behavioral interventions. It involves components, that is social skills training, anger control training, moral reasoning. That means this aggressive behavior can be controlled through these means. One the thing is social skills training. They should be provided training in social skills, assertive skills. Other thing is assertive skills. That is a very important thing that has to be taught to the people. Then the anger management. Anger management should also be taught to the people. How to, when people become angry, how to control, how to release that anger. What are the ways? Those things should be made clear. That type of knowledge should be provided to the people so that they can control their anger. Once the anger is controlled, this aggressive behavior will not occur. So we told you earlier, frustration leads to anger. Please remember the sequence. Frustration leads to anger. Anger is the second step. It is the middle point. This anger leads to aggression. So that means frustration leads to anger, and anger leads to aggression. So when the people are taught anger management techniques, so they can control their anger, so that to some extent we can avoid this aggressive behavior. Then moral reasoning, that is good and which is good, which is bad, morals, telling the morals to the children and also the other people. And good parenting is also important. They should treat the children properly. They spend time with children, quality time, not merely giving the lot of gifts to the people. Students, parents, they spend a lot of money on the children. They don't mind spending lakhs of money, either paying fees or buying clothes or shoes or whatever it is. They spend a lot of money, but unfortunately, they will not spend much time with children because they don't have time. We cannot criticize them. They don't have time to spend quality time with children, but they will spend a lot of time, a lot of money on children by way of paying the fees, by way of purchasing clothes, shoes, etc. So good parenting should also be there. And the other thing is, I think is the last one. Yes, this is the last one. Yes, 16. Yes, the last one. Okay. So these, there are various techniques out there. The cognitive behavior therapy is there. Through cognitive behavior therapy, we can reduce the intensity of aggressive behavior, or we can also control the aggressive behavior. Of course, this is always a different technique. We cannot discuss in detail the cognitive behavior therapy. That way we will read it next year. Next year we have one course that is called counseling psychology. In counseling psychology, there are different types, different therapies are discussed. Even also this third course. What is this third course? Psychopathology. In psychopathology also there are therapies are there. I think there are 3-4 chapters are there on therapy. Different therapies are there. One such important therapy is cognitive behavior therapy. By using the technique and also behavior modification techniques, those things we can control this aggressive behavior. One point stuck to my mind. That is one reason for aggressive behavior. Some people think it is the easiest way to get things done. Please understand, even including children, they think aggression is easiest way. Some disturbance is there. Yes. So here అంటే ఏమనంటే ఈ అగ్రెషన్ అనేది చాలా సులభమైన మార్గం. మనం అనుకున్న పనులు చేసుకోవడానికి, విజయాన్ని సాధించడానికి అగ్రెషన్ చాలా దగ్గర దారి. ఇది చాలా సింపుల్, ఈజియెస్ట్ వే టు గెట్ థింగ్స్ డన్. దట్ ఈస్ వాట్ ది ఫీలింగ్ ఆఫ్ మెనీ పీపుల్, ఇంక్లూడింగ్ చిల్డ్రన్. చిల్డ్రన్ ఏదో అడుగుతారు, ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ మొబైల్, పేరెంట్స్ తీసిరు, వాళ్ళు నో అంటారు. ఏం చేస్తారు చిల్డ్రన్? అగ్రెసివ్ మాట్లాడతారు. అలగడం ఒక లైట్, ఇంకా ఎక్కువ చేస్తారు. కొంతమంది వస్తువులు పారేస్తారు, ఇంట్లో ఉన్న వస్తువులు పారేస్తారు, బుక్కులు పారేస్తారు, బుక్కులు చించేస్తారు. ఇంకా నేను ఎస్టర్డే ఐ సీన్ ద న్యూస్, పేపర్లో ఏదో చూశాను నేను. మొబైల్ మదర్ has not allowed the child to use mobile. మదర్ యూజ్ చేయలేదు, అలో చేయలేదు. He prevented the child. వెంటనే దట్ చైల్డ్ అటాక్డ్ ది మదర్. చూడండి ఎలా వస్తుందో. ఓన్ మదర్ దట్ చైల్డ్ అటాక్. చైల్డ్ అంటే మరి చిన్నవాడు కాదు, అడోల్సెంట్ టైప్. అటాక్డ్ ది మదర్ బికాస్ he was prevented from using mobile. That is one thing. And he is not given the mobile. High-end mobile, costly mobile, he is not given. Because of these two factors, that adolescent has attacked the mother. So when they attack, or use them, they speak very loudly. అరుస్తారు, తిడతారు, ఎగురుతారు, అట్లా పోతారు. ఎన్ని లాట్ ఆఫ్ సో అన్డిజరబుల్ థింగ్స్ దే డూ ఇట్. సో అలా చేసినప్పుడు ఏం చేస్తారంటే వాళ్ళ పేరెంట్స్ జనరల్గా టు అవాయిడ్ దిస్ టైప్ ఆఫ్ థీలింగ్ వాళ్ళు అడిగింది, పిల్లోళ్ళు అడిగింది తీసేస్తారు. సో అదేమవుతుంది, మళ్ళీ వాళ్ళకి ఎస్టాబ్లిష్ అవుతుంది. ఏమి ఎస్టాబ్లిష్ అవుతుంది పిల్లలకు? నాకు ఏదైనా కావాలంటే నేను ఇలా బిహేవ్ చేయాలి, నేను అరవాలి, నేను అరిస్తేనే వాళ్ళు నేను అడిగింది ఇస్తారు అనేది వాళ్ళకి ఎస్టాబ్లిష్ అవుతుంది. వాళ్ళకి ఏం కావాలన్నా అరుస్తూనే ఉంటారు, ఏడుస్తూనే ఉంటారు, ఎగురుతూనే ఉంటారు, అలా చేస్తుంటారు. సో ది మెయిన్ పాయింట్ ఈజ్ పిల్లలే కాదు పెద్దలు ఎవరైనా కానీ అగ్రెషన్ అనేది కొంతమందిలో ఉన్న ఫీలింగ్ ఏంటంటే అగ్రెషన్ ద్వారా మన పనులు తొందరగా చేసుకోవచ్చు. ఇట్ ఈస్ ఈజియెస్ట్ వే టు గెట్ థింగ్స్ డన్. దట్ ఈస్ వై దే express, they manifest this aggressive behavior. మెత్తగా మాట్లాడితే చెప్తుంటారు, మెత్తగా మాట్లాడితే పనులు కావు అని చెప్తున్నారు. పల్లెల్లో కానీ అన్ని చోట్ల చెప్తుంటారు, నువ్వు పోయి అక్కడ ఆఫీస్కి పోయి మెత్తగా మాట్లాడితే పనులు కావు, గట్టిగా మాట్లాడు అప్పుడే పనులు అవుతాయి అని బయట వాళ్ళు చెప్తుంటారు. వాళ్ళు కూడా ఫీలింగ్ వస్తుంది. అంటే పనులు చేయించుకోవడానికి అదొక టెక్నిక్. Okay. Okay, you have any doubts?
సార్ నార్సిజం అంటే ఏంటి సార్? కరెక్ట్ దానికి హౌ డు
they think they are great, they think they are big.
And any context sir, any example?
అంటే
think great.
వాళ్ళ ఫీలింగ్ లో వాళ్ళు ఎవరంటే మేము గొప్పవాళ్ళం, మంచివాళ్ళం, అది చాలా గ్రేట్ గా స్టేటస్, హై స్టేటస్ ఎలా ఉంటుంది. అలాంటి స్టేటస్ కి భంగం కలిగినప్పుడు వాళ్ళు వైలెంట్ గా బిహేవ్ చేస్తారు. ఇప్పుడు పల్లెల్లో కానీ కొంచెం చోట్ల జరుగుతుంటుంది. చాలా గొప్పవారుగా ఉంటారు, పెద్దవాళ్ళుగా ఉంటారు. ఐ థింక్ దే ఆర్ వెరీ గ్రేట్ పీపుల్. గ్రేట్ పీపుల్ మీరు చిన్నగా అవమానించే పదం వాడినా కూడా దే ఫీల్, దే రియాక్ట్ వైలెంట్లీ.
అంటే దే గో ఫర్ ఎక్స్ట్రీమ్ సార్. వైలెంట్ ఇన్ సెన్స్ దే షౌట్ అవే.
ఎక్స్ట్రీమ్ అంటే కిల్లింగ్ వరకు ఓవర్. అంటే అగ్రెషన్ అంటే కిల్లింగ్ కాదండి. అగ్రెషన్ అనే పదము కిల్లింగ్ అనేది కాదు, స్టాబింగ్ అనేది కాదు. స్టాబింగ్ అది ఒకటి మామూలుగా ఏది వర్బల్ ఎక్స్ప్రెషన్, దురుసుగా మాట్లాడినది అగ్రెషన్ అవుతుంది. చిట్టినా అగ్రెషన్ అవుతుంది. చిట్టినా అగ్రెషనే. అబ్యూజివ్ చిన్న ఏది అదే కాకుండా అగ్రెషన్ లో ఇదివరకు చెప్పాము ఎక్స్ప్రెషన్ ఆఫ్ యాంగర్ అనేది ఎలా వస్తుందంటే మనుషుల పైన కోపం చూపించడం ఒకటి. రెండోది మనుషుల పైన కోపం ఎలాంటి కోపాన్ని చూపించరు, వాళ్ళు ఆబ్జెక్ట్స్ పైన చూపిస్తారు. ఆబ్జెక్ట్స్ పైన, దట్ ఈస్ ఆల్సో అగ్రెషన్. అగ్రెషన్ ఎక్స్ప్రెషన్ అగైన్స్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్స్. చాలా ఇళ్ళలో మీరు చాలా చూసింటారు మీరు. టీవీలు పగిలిపోవడం, రిమోట్లు పగిలిపోవడం, కంటెద్దలు పగిలిపోవడం, మొబైల్ పారేయడం, ఇలాంటి చాలా చోట్ల చూస్తుంటాం. సో దట్ మీన్స్ అక్కడ ఎన్నో రీజన్స్ ఉంటాయి. రీజన్స్ ఉన్నప్పుడు దట్ అగ్రెషన్ ఈజ్ నాట్ ఎక్స్ప్రెస్డ్ అగైన్స్ ద పర్సన్, but aggression is manifested against the objects. So it involves objects also, not necessarily man, human beings. So వస్తువులు మనం బ్రేక్ చేసినా, విన్ చేసినా, పగలగొట్టినా కూడా అది అగ్రెషన్ కింద వస్తుంది. That means it was
they want to prove their point.
Yes, అంటే ఇది ఇన్వాల్వ్ అయ్యేది అగ్రెషన్లో హ్యూమన్ బీయింగ్స్ ఇన్వాల్వ్ అయినారు, అలాగే ఆబ్జెక్ట్స్ కూడా ఇన్వాల్వ్ అయ్యింది. సో ఆబ్జెక్ట్స్ని డిస్ట్రాక్ట్ చేసినా కూడా అది అగ్రెషన్ కింద వస్తుంది. ఇప్పుడు స్టూడెంట్స్ స్ట్రైక్ చేస్తుంటారు, బస్సులు తగలబడతారు, ఎవరిని కిల్ చేయరు, ఎవరిని చంపరు, పొడవరు, ఏం చేయరు, బట్ బస్సులు కాల్ చేస్తారు, లారీలు కాల్ చేస్తారు. దట్ ఈస్ ఆల్సో అగ్రెషన్. సో వాళ్ళ కోపాన్ని, వాళ్ళ అసంతృప్తి దేని పని చూపించారు? మనుషుల పని చూపించలేదు, పోలీసుల పని చూపించలేదు, బస్సుల పని చూపించారు. బికాస్ వాళ్ళు ఏమి అనలేరు కాబట్టి, బస్సులు ఏం చేయవు కదా, కాబట్టి వాళ్ళు దానిపైన చూపిస్తారు. అలా ఇంట్లో జరుగుతుంది, అన్ని చోట్ల జరుగుతుంటుంది. మన వస్తువులు కోపం వస్తువులు ఇసిరి పారేస్తాం. అంటే అలా ఇసిరి పారేసే దానివల్ల మరో విధంగా కూడా చెప్తారు, దిస్ నెగిటివ్ ఎమోషన్ ఇస్ ఆల్సో రిలీజ్. In one way it is also good. For me it is also good. TV by remote by అయితే రిలీజ్ అవుతుంది.
Excuse me,
Sir,
sir.
can you please share this PPT in the group, sir?
Yes, I will wait.
Thank you.
So one more doubt, sir. A person who is completely drunk, okay, also breaks the objects and so on, gets wild and shows. So that also comes under aggressive nature.
Yes.
Now, is it with consciousness? Yeah, is it with consciousness that he is doing, or maybe
No.
is out of mind?
His cognitive factors are not under his control.
Okay.
మైండ్ పనిచేయదు వారికి.
Okay.
వాళ్ళ ఆలోచన లేదు, ఏది మంచి ఏది చెడు అనే పరిస్థితిలో అది కాగ్నిటివ్ ఫ్యాక్టర్స్ పనిచేసినట్టయితే అప్పుడు దిస్ ఇస్ గుడ్, దిస్ ఇస్ బ్యాడ్ అనేది ఉంటుంది. వాళ్ళకు ఏది గుడ్ ఏది బ్యాడ్ అని లేదు. ఎవ్రీథింగ్ ఇస్ గుడ్ ఫర్ దెమ్.
అంటే వాళ్ళు ఏది చేసినా కరెక్ట్ అని వాళ్ళకి
వాట్ ఎవర్ దే డూ దే థింక్ దిస్ ఇస్ కరెక్ట్. ఇస్ బ్యాడ్ అనేది వాళ్ళకి ఉండదు. బ్యాడ్ అనేది ఉన్నట్టయితే అప్పని చేయరు. అంటే కాగ్నిషన్ విల్ నాట్ ఫంక్షన్, దే విల్ నాట్ వర్క్.
ఓకే,
ఆలోచనలు ఉండవు.
ఓకే సార్. సేమ్ థింగ్ విత్ ద పర్సన్స్ హు టేక్ డ్రగ్స్ తీసుకున్న వాళ్ళకి కూడా అలాగే ఉంటుంది.
సేమ్ థింగ్.
ఓకే, థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్.
హలో, ఓకే చెప్పండి. ఓకే ఐ విల్ గో బ్యాక్. ఓకే. You can go through the slide, please. Slowly I will move. ఇక్కడ చూడండి, ఫార్మ్స్ ఆఫ్ అగ్రెషన్ చూడండి. రోషన్ పీక్ చెప్పాను, అవుట్వర్డ్, ఇన్వర్డ్, ఏవియేషన్ ఎస్టర్డే చెప్పాను. నెక్స్ట్ వచ్చి ఫార్మ్స్ ఆఫ్ అగ్రెషన్. ఇట్ ఈస్ ఎ బ్యూటిఫుల్ ప్రపోజిషన్ బై ది బ్యారన్. 1977లో చెప్పాడు. అది బ్యూటిఫుల్గా ఉన్నాయి. ఈ కేటగిరీస్ అన్ని 6 ఉన్నాయండి. 1 2 3 4 5 6 ఉన్నాయి. ఇది కేటగిరీస్. అగ్రెషన్ ఎన్ని రకాలుగా ఎక్స్ప్రెస్ చేస్తాం, మేనిఫెస్ట్ చేస్తామన్నారు. ఫిజికల్, యాక్టివ్, డైరెక్ట్. దట్ ఈస్ వన్ కేటగిరీ అకార్డింగ్ టు డారన్. ఫిజికల్, యాక్టివ్, డైరెక్ట్. దీనికి ఎగ్జాంపుల్ స్టాబింగ్, పంచింగ్, హిట్టింగ్. ఇదంతా ఫిజికలీ స్టాబింగ్, యాక్టివ్, డైరెక్ట్ రెండు ఉన్నాయి. ఈ తర్వాత రెండోది చూడండి, ఇంపార్టెంట్. ఫిజికల్, యాక్టివ్, బట్ ఇండైరెక్ట్. Physical, it is active, but aggression is indirect. Why it is called indirect? What is the example? You see, when the enemy is there, instead of attacking him directly, you will just kidnap them. They won't help do anything. For example, last year one incident was there. Love marriage, for the relationship between boy and girl. This girl refused to marry the boy, and after some time, marriage was fixed for the girl. And next day, she is going for the marriage. There is marriage hall. What the boy has done, to prevent her from achieving her goal. Her goal is marriage with some other person. So our goal is marrying a person. That is her goal. So to prevent that girl from marrying the person, he has kidnapped. He has kidnapped that girl. He has not harmed. He has not harmed the girl, but he has caught the kidnapped and kept somewhere for a few days. Then afterwards she left. That marriage did not take place. That marriage was cancelled because that girl was not available, because that girl was kidnapped. And marriage was cancelled. He is happy. That person is happy because that girl refused him to marry. This is called indirect.
So, sir, that means that without causing any physical harm,
he has not done any physical harm. But the only thing he has done is he has prevented her from marrying another person.
Yes.
So the physical, passive, direct. This is direct is there and it is passive. For example, preventing others from achieving a goal. That is, for example, the strikes. We do it, the strikes. And the physical, passive, indirect. Refusing to perform necessary tasks. Refusing to move during sit-in demonstration. So this strikes examples are taken. Another form, this form, earlier one is completely verbal, the physical. All these 6 ways of manifestation of aggression is physical. All physical, 1, 2, 3, 4. How many? 4. All these are physical. Next thing is verbal. Is all verbal. No physical activity is there. No physical activity, absolutely nil. This is verbal, active, direct. Insulting another person. He is not harming by hitting or stabbing or anything. He just insults another person. That is direct. Verbal, active, indirect. So instead of directly insulting the person, this type of expression, the other type of expression is indirect way. That is, they spread rumors secretly. Nobody knows who has spread these rumors. The so-and-so person is not good, is bad, and so like that. They will spread a lot of rumors against the person. But the background, she will not be come to the fore. And verbal, passive, direct. Refusing to answer questions. It is verbal, passive, direct. Refugees, for example, this occurs between, for example, not only one example I can use. Sometimes it occurs between wife and husband, or any person, between 2 persons. So some argument took place between the 2 persons, maybe spouse. Argument took place. So after some time it subsides, no argument. One of the persons, either wife or husband, they initiates a talk to compromise. Initiates a talk, maybe wife or husband. other person purposely refuse to answer. చెప్పండి ఏమైంది, చెప్పండి ఏం కావాలో అడగండి, ఏం కావాలో చెప్పండి అంటుంటారు. అది భర్త ఎవరో అంటుంటారు, మీకు ఏం కావాలో అడగండి, ఏం ప్రాబ్లం సమస్య అండి, మీ సమస్య ఏమిటి చెప్పండి 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 అంటారు. నో ఆన్సర్ అట్ ఆల్. ఇదేమవుతుందంటే ఇలా ఆన్సర్ చేయకుండా పోయినట్టయితే ఆ రెండో వ్యక్తిలో అసహనం పెరిగిపోతుంది, ఆలో అన్ప్లెజెంట్ ఫీలింగ్ వెళ్ళిపోతుంది. చాలా బాధపడుతుంటారు. అక్కడ ఆయన బాధపడుతుంటే వాళ్ళు బాధపడుతుంటే ఈ పర్సన్ ఏమో చాలా ఆనందంగా ఉంటారు, ఆ పర్సన్ ఏమో బాధపడుతున్నారు, అన్ప్లెజెంట్ ఫీలింగ్స్ ఉన్నాయి. ఈ పర్సన్ లెట్ దట్ పర్సన్ సఫర్ అనే ఫీలింగ్ ఉంటుంది వీళ్ళలో. అంటే వాళ్ళు ఏమైనా అవ్వాలని కాదు, దట్ టైప్ ఆఫ్ ఫీలింగ్ విల్ బి దేర్. సో refusing to answer questions, they will be silent. మీరు ఏమైనా అడగండి, ఆన్సర్ ఇవ్వరు. పిల్లలు చేస్తారు, అది అడుగుతారు, ఏం కావాలి చెప్పండి, ఏమీ చెప్పరు, సైలెంట్గా ఉంటారు. ఇట్ ఈస్ వన్ వే ఆఫ్ ఎక్స్ప్రెషన్ ఆఫ్ యాంగర్ ఆర్ ది అగ్రెషన్ అగెన్స్ట్ ది పేరెంట్స్. Verbal, passive, indirect, failing to make specific verbal comments. This rarely it happens. The failing to speak up in another person's defense when he is unfairly criticized. For example, two persons are there, friends or known persons. One person is criticized by another person. Second person is there, though he knows that he has not done anything, but he will not defend. He will allow him to be criticized by other person. This is called verbal, passive, indirect. So these are all different forms of aggression which are identified by a social psychologist. He is a great psychologist, social psychologist, that is Barron. Of course, all these things are not in our syllabus, please. But in general, we can understand how this aggression is taking place. Hello. Okay, right. Okay, stop. Okay, students, with you we just stop. Aggression we have completed in 2 classes, yesterday and today. So we have covered different aspects of aggression, types of aggression, meaning of aggression, theories of aggression, and the determinants of aggression, social factors, psychological, personal factors, and situational factors, biological factors. Those things we have discussed, and also different perspectives also we have discussed. And lastly, we also discussed how to control the aggression and how to prevent the aggression. Those things we also discussed as part of this aggression. Also, this is an important topic, not only for academic purpose. Nowadays, aggression is growing. This is important not for the examination. Examination, of course, I am not talking about the examination. But this topic is very important for us as a social psychologist, because aggression level nowadays is growing abnormally. everywhere violence, everywhere violence. Every day we are watching the TV and the newspapers and everywhere. So these aggressive activities are growing. These people need to be understood the various factors that influence aggression, so that we can see that that is reduced or controlled at least to some extent. Okay, with this I will stop it. Thank you, friends, for your patient hearing.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.